I don't want to suggest that Chris Smalling was the only reason we were doing well here at Roma in our first season, but the results since he's left have been less than ideal. Yes, hello, welcome into FM22 Sports here for another episode of Glory Hunter here on Football Manager 22. If you missed the last one, go and check that out. It was an interesting one, we'll say that, as we were unfortunately knocked out of the Italian Cup. And if you are new around here, hit that subscribe button for more daily Football Manager content. I hope you are all enjoying this Glory Hunter so far. I certainly am. We're now in March, nearly at the end of our first season, but we still have a chance to win 2 trophies in our first year, which would not be bad at all. As you can see from the results in front of you, we last were here for the Italian Cup quarter-final, and to be honest, results have not been very good since then. We did beat Fiorentina 3-1, thankfully, goals for Bale and 2 from Abraham. We then lost to Atalanta 3-2, conceding 2 late goals. Tammy got 2 of those goals in that one as well. Spezia were our next opponent. They are down the bottom of the table, and it was a 1-1 draw. A goal for Tammy in that one, and then we just about managed to get ourselves a draw against Bologna. Remember, they'd beaten us the last time as one of our only losses so far this season, 3-2 earlier on in the year. So I thought we were going to lose to them twice in a year. Thankfully, it wasn't the case, but we've not been playing well at all. I'm also going to have to apologise if you can hear someone what appears to be cutting down a tree outside my window for some reason. I'll be honest, I didn't even know there was a tree that needed cut down out there. So if you do hear any chainsawing, I promise you it's not me. It's not in your head. It is coming from out my back door for some reason. Today we're going to have games up against Lokomotiv Moscow in our Conference League second knockout round, first leg, and also a very important game in the league up against Napoli as well. And the reason I say it's very important is because after all those results we've had, some poor results to be honest, we're down in 4th position. We're 10 points off of Inter Milan with just 10 games to go. It's going to be really tough to try and reel that in. Hopefully they struggle for a few games and we can try to catch them up. A win against Napoli is vitally important for us, not only to catch up with them, but to try and stay anywhere near Inter. If Inter win and we lose our game, that's 13 points with 9 games to go. It's not going to happen. It's a stretch at the moment after a very poor February for us, but we need to get that win against Napoli in the second game of today's episode to try and keep that pressure on Inter Milan. But we can think about SerieA at the second half of the episode. We're going to start thinking about Lokomotiv Moscow today, and we want a good win in this first leg up against them in the second knockout round of the Conference League. If we look at other teams that are still in the Conference League at this point, see the other games: Fenerbahce, Anderlecht, Napoli, who we play later on today, against Rennes, ourselves in Lokomotiv Moscow, Ferencváros, it's hard for me to say that team from Hungary, and Basel, Young Boys in Tottenham, Celtic in Ghent, BSV in Malmo, and Feyenoord and AZ Alkmaar. You got to say we're one of the favourites in there. Ourselves in Tottenham, Napoli, maybe Anderlecht are probably the 4 favourites in there, I would guess. But it's a competition we've got to look to be winning, especially if maybe some of the other big teams could maybe get knocked out at this stage. It would be very useful for us. Imagine ticking off this one. This is probably going to be the toughest trophy, I think, to win, because it's, again, you're not trying to be the best you can be because you've got to have dropped into this competition. So the fact we started in it with Roma, we've made them slightly better. We're going to be qualified for Champions League this year. If we can somehow win the Conference League, that would be ideal. So we do still have a few injuries in the wing-back positions. Davide Santon is out for 4 weeks at the moment. Vass is out for another 2 months. Descaglio's just coming back from injury, so it does mean that Spinazzola is going to stay on that right-hand side. And you can see we are changing formation for today. I think maybe they were just getting a bit used to that 5 at the back, the opposition. It's very smart for the manager. If you keep going with the same tactic all the time, eventually opposition teams will find you out. So we're going to the 4-4-2 today, and we'll see how that does for us. So this is the team that we're going to go with. Patricio in goal, Kumbulla and Romagnoli at centre-back, Spinazzola covering on the right and Calafiori playing at left-back, Pellegrini and Veretout in central midfield, with Zaniolo on the right and Perisic on the left, and Shomurodov will partner Abraham up front. Abraham, you can see 31 goals so far this season. He's well on his way to the 40 I was mentioning last time out. It'd be great if he could could get there in today's episode if he just scored 9 over the course of the 2 games. It's not going to happen, but I think he could very easily get 40 this season if he keeps this up. It'd be really important for us to try and turn our form around with a good win today up against Lokomotiv Moscow, who are playing in green on this slightly snow-covered pitch here at the start of March in Moscow. And we have a free kick. We'll pass out from the back. Romagnoli with it. He drives forward, finds Veretout, who manages to not control that ball, and Gaston has it and switches it to Camano out on this left-hand side. Camano plays the ball back toward Peters. Peters is trapped by Zaniolo, but not well enough. The ball was swung in. Romagnoli gets rid of it, and it's come back out to Peters here. I tell you, we're under the cosh a little bit early on here. Veretout plays it back to Patricio, and it's cleared away, but only as far as Peters, and they get to recycle the play again to Lokomotiv here. And Murillo finds Jedvaj forward to Kerrick, and Romagnoli's made a foul on the player there, but I tell you what a finish from Kerk there. It's his 9th goal of the season. That's just taking me back a little bit. Romagnoli fouled a player, but it didn't matter. They got the ball, played the advantage, and scored a fantastic goal. Look at this here. The ball comes through. Gaston gets fouled by Romagnoli, but Kerk runs onto the ball instead. And we're down 1-0. I told you we've not been playing well since we made the sale of Chris Smalling to Burnley, and hopefully we can maybe improve this further onto this game. And there is another highlight, but it is going to go the way of Lokomotiv. It looks like the ball's passed about at the back, and Peters has it now. It's played all the way forward. Miranchuk back to Peters, and Peters is keeping it. He plays it forward towards Smolov, and it's switched to Kerk and Jedvaj. And forward towards Smolov. Oh my goodness me, that has thrashed and throttled the crossbar. Thankfully it was offside, but we're being dominated so far in this game. And Jedvaj with the ball on that right hand side plays it back to Kerk. Now Kerk's got a chance for his second, and he has. Oh no, what are we doing? Why are we so bad? You saw how good we were at the start of the season, and now we're just falling apart when it gets to the important stage of the season, and Calafiore's got himself injured. Oh, this is not ideal at all. Let me see what I'm going to do. I might have to change the system as well. Right, so we're going to go to a 4-2-3-1. It means we're going to obviously have to take off the injured Calafiore. So Romagnoli will cover at left back. Ibanez will come on for him. And we're also going to take off Shomurodov early on in this game. I feel sorry for him. We're going to bring on El Shaarawy instead, move Zaniolo into the central attacking midfield position. And hopefully we can do something. We're going to make sure and change to a positive style. Confirm the changes and see if we can do anything here as we get to this second half. We do have a corner. Veretout swings it in. It's headed by Abraham and it's over the bar. Maybe this is a sign of things to come, us getting more chances. Told them that first half display was not good enough, and we'll see how we do in the second here. But so far, we've had less of the ball. We've not even had a shot yet in the second half. It doesn't look like it's going to be our day. But Veretout swings in the corner. Zaniolo onto Abraham, and the flag's up for offside on the far side. It looks like it's going to be disallowed, surely. It looked offside just from first viewing there, and indeed it was. We don't have to see the replay. Oh, this could be a disappointing 2-0 loss. We could be getting knocked out of Europe early on here. Veretout with another corner, swung in, it's headed away. Pellegrini hits it, Perisic tucks it in, and is that going to be offside? They're going to be checking VAR. The assistant referee appears to have ran away, so it doesn't look like he's flagging for offside, but VAR is going to check it anyway. And I'm assuming they've given us the goal because they've not said otherwise. The ball, Ibanez, Pellegrini hits it. I think Perisic was just onside, and we've managed to get ourselves back in this game. 2-1 down now. We've made a change, brought on Castrovilli at attacking midfield position. There's 50 minutes to go, so we'll make another couple of changes, I think, as well. Perisic is dead on his feet, so we'll bring Pepe on and move El Shaarawy to that left-hand side. And Tammy's not playing well, so we'll bring on Mayoral up front for the last, 15 minutes and see if we can demand some more from the entire team. Let's see how we get on. El Shaarawy with a free kick. Castrovilli, it's a good save from the goalkeeper. It was flagged for offside, though, and we're getting ourselves back into this game as this game finishes off. See if we can get a second. A 2-2 draw after being so poor to begin with would be a great result for us, but the time's ticking down. There's a minute to go and there could be a chance. Castrovilli forward toward El Shaarawy, who's on this left hand side now, switches it toward Pepe, and it's cleared away, but only as far as Spinazzola. Spinazzola drives down the right-hand side, swings the ball into the box, and it's cleared away. Romagnoli now, playing out at left back. Can he get the ball into the box? He can. It's put in. El Shaarawy hits it. Pellegrini with the ball now, and it's a goal from Pellegrini. Lorenzo Pellegrini with his 4th goal of the season. But what a vital goal that could be for us. See, the ball falls to Pellegrini at the edge of the box there. He brings it in, and what a finish across the goalkeeper to get us back into this tie. 2-2, a last-minute equaliser. So for the return leg, back in Rome, we are back in this game after a really poor start to that game. The first half was disastrous. We changed the system and we got ourselves back in that game. Calafiore has pulled his calf muscle. He's out for the next month, which is not ideal. Seems we're struggling in the fullback department already before that injury. 2-2, we're back onto it. Maybe a bit of form. Maybe we're going 4-2-3-1 will be the way to go for us. We're certainly not going to play 4-4-2 against Napoli. We'll see what we do in 3 days' time for the second game of the episode. A vitally important one up against Napoli to try and keep ourselves in the fight for the SerieA title. Just looking at the match momentum for that game against Lokomotiv, we were never really in control of that game. We got slightly better toward the end, but really, Lokomotiv had all of the ball in that. And looking at our passing, it doesn't really work because we made so many early changes. That's not a useful graph when you make changes early on, unfortunately, which is a bit frustrating. It's maybe something for future games that Sports Interactive can have a look at, because it doesn't really work, unfortunately. Let's have a look at these draws, though. The quarterfinal and semi-final draws are being made at the moment. So we will draw the teams out the hat, and we'll see who we get. Should we progress through this tie against Lokomotiv Moscow, we would play up against Feyenoord or AZ Alkmaar. Not the most difficult that it could be. And should we then progress through that, we'll have a look at see who we get. It would be one of Fenerbahce, Anderlecht, Celtic or Ghent. It means we have missed Napoli, Tottenham, Rennes. Some tough games on that side of the draw. So we've probably got the slightly easier side of the draw, which means we could get to the final and possibly get our first trophy here in our Glory Hunter Challenge. But we need to overcome a disappointing performance to Moscow. We don't have to overcome. We're 2-2. We've got 2 away goals. Just need to make sure we win at the Stadio Olimpico. Right, here we are, ready for the game up against Napoli. Possibly the most important one in this episode. You can see we're going back to our 5 at the back formation simply because we don't really have enough players to play full back. We have a few more that can play wing back, so that's why we're going back to the 5 at the back. So Patricia's going to play in goal. Ibanez with Romagnoli and Albiol at centre back. Perisic will drop back from left wing to play left wing back. Spinazzola still covering on the right hand side. Pellegrini with Veretout in midfield. Zaniolo on the right. El Shaarawy on the left, and Tammy Abraham leading the line again. No goals in the last game. It'd be important, or it would be useful anyway, if he could get one today up against Napoli. You can see they still have on the bench Simon there, who's one of the top scorers in the league as well. And you can see Matthias Vina there, who we sold to Napoli in the January window. I'm going to say they've won 4 of the last 5, but we have the quality to beat them. Nobody seems to care. That was good of them to react to my team talk at all there. And they step out for the second sole derby of the season. A win is going to be vitally important for us here. And the ball is with Napoli deep in their own half here. Mario Rui with it. Back to Koulibaly, who didn't start the last game we played against him, but he is starting today. And Fabian with it forward toward Dries Mertens. And Fabian plays the ball all the way back to Koulibaly, and they'll recycle this play. And it comes to the right-hand side. Ramani with it. Back to Koulibaly, forcing us deep into our own half. Koulibaly forward to Insigne and forward to Mertens now. Can he finish? Yes, he can. Their lead 1-0. VAR will have a look at this, however, as is often the case with ones with tight offsides. And the goal's been disallowed. It was offside. We're just about holding on. That was the first shot of the game, but as you can see, that didn't count as one because he was offside. So it's been a pretty boring game so far for anybody watching in the stadium, and certainly for us at home. We're not getting to see any highlights. So boring, in fact, that was the only highlight of the first half as the game ticked on. This is going to give the fans their money's worth. You can see Napoli have only had the 1 shot, 2 shots now in the game. We've had 3. It's not been exciting at all. But let's see if it changes here. Anguissa with it forward to Mertens for Napoli. And Politano comes in field forward toward Mertens. Can he finish? No, he can't. It's wide of the goal. Didn't even hit the target. and it's still 0-0 at the moment, and we've got the ball. Maybe we can have our first highlight of the game. Perisic, back to Romagnoli, who's been a great signing since we brought him back from AC Milan. Plays it forward to Veretout, and now Ibanez and Pellegrini, and Zaniolo with it. And Spinazzola's got space on the right-hand side if he can find him, but instead Albiol takes his time with it and plays it to Pellegrini and gets it back. And now Albiol, acres of space, plays it to Pellegrini and Zaniolo. And Spinazzola's behind the fullback if the ball can get to him. No, they changed the side of the play they're going to. Zaniolo with it now. Back to Albiol. It's nice, slow, patient build-up. I would like if we played it forward, though, and they have. Spinazzola. Abraham with it now. Forward to El Shaarawy on this left-hand side. Plays it into Abraham. Can he finish? Yes, he can. His 32nd goal of the season puts us 1-0 ahead here. I was complaining with the slow build-up, but you know what? If they're going to be slow, patient build-up and get us a goal, I'm not going to complain anymore. Abraham with a wonderful ball forward to El Shaarawy. Gets in behind the defence. He makes his run into the box as Abraham. No one's marking him as the ball's brought back. It just clips off the defender, but the goal's given to Abraham. And just short of an hour here, we are up 1-0 in what could be a vitally, vitally important game in the course of this season for us. There's not been many highlights, but we are winning, and there's another one here. 20 minutes to go. Pellegrini swings the ball in. It's cleared away. Perisic will get this ball, though. And he goes down the line to El Shaarawy. Can this ball get put into the middle? No, he's challenged by Versailles there. And Zielinski comes away with it and plays the ball forward. Oh, Simon's come on now. Can he get a goal? Yes, he can. He's 19th of the season. And it's 1-1 here. Back on level terms on Napoli. We're going to have to make some changes. We've got some very tired legs out there. Zaniolo can come off. We'll bring on Nicolas Pepe for him. Veretout can come off and Castrovilli. Cristante on for Pellegrini. Spinazzola can come off and we'll bring on De Sciglio as well. Not long left, but we do have a highlight here. De Lorenzo's got it forward to Anguissa for Napoli here, and it's all the way back to David Ospina in the goal. Koulibaly back to Ospina, and Ramani at centre back to Koulibaly. They're playing it in triangles here, but they're playing a risky game. De Lorenzo launches it forward though, and now Simon's in behind the defence again, and he chips the keeper, and it's just clipped the top of the bar, and we just about hold on here. But there is still 10 minutes to go, and it's a highlight. It looked like a foul throw from De Lorenzo, but it wasn't. It was cleared away. Anguissa with it. Can he have a shot? It's just about cleared away. Castrovilli finds De Sciglio, and it's launched toward Tammy Abraham, who flicks it on, and he's not going to manage to get onto the end of his own flick on there. And the ball's launched forward, and now Simon's in behind the defence again. Can he get a goal? Yes, he can. He scored 2. Oh, and we're down 2-1. That substitution's made all the difference there for Napoli, and we're going to have to do something to change it here. I think we'll push De Sciglio and Perisic further on. We'll play 4 in midfield. Pepe can play up front alongside Abraham, as can El Shaarawy. And we'll bring on Bale instead of De Sciglio. De Sciglio's going to have the unfortunate occurrence that he's been brought on and then taken off. We're going to play Pepe, Abraham and Bale up front. And in possession, we're going to play a bit more direct, I think. A faster tempo. And we'll see if we can play a little bit better and in transition as well. We want to counter when we've won the ball, and we're going to distribute wide to the flanks and take long kicks when we get the ball. Completely changing our style of play, but you've got to do what you've got to do, and we've got to somehow get ourselves a goal in the last 10 minutes of this game here. Otherwise, it looks like the Serie A title is definitely out of our reach. 4 minutes added time. We're going to demand some more here as the game ticks on. And added time is finished, and we've lost 2-1 up against Napoli here. A disappointing defeat in the end. I thought we'd been playing all right, but in the end, beaten by probably the better side. They had less of the ball, did Napoli, but they did more with it. And we're unfortunately 13 points behind Inter Milan now, with just 9 games to go, and it looks to me that the Serie A title is going to be out of reach. Now it's going to be a tough enough fight to try and get in the Champions League places. So yeah, it's been a month since we've won a game now. After we beat Fiorentina there in the middle of February, we've not won anything since then. So hopefully we can turn that around in the next episode when we play up against Lokomotiv Moscow and Udinese. We need to make sure we do win that game against Lokomotiv, otherwise we'll get knocked out of the Conference League and we won't have any titles at all to play for this year, which would be a disappointing start to our Glory Hunter save. So if you have enjoyed this episode, even though we've had 2 disappointing results really, please do leave a like on the video. It really does help us out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until the next one where we have our second leg against Locomotive and our game against Udinese, we'll see you then.